What up? What up? What's going on? What's going on? Hopefully, everybody is having a cool Monday. We're trying to set this week off right. I see people are starting to come in. Appreciate it. I'm still waiting for my guest, but I definitely have some announcements. So I'll wait as people start to come in. Um, cool. So no matter where you're tuning in from, whether it's Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch, you can always type in the comments and we will be able to see them towards the end of the hour. We'll do a Q&A session. So that is where you will type your questions. Boof on the beat. What's going on, man? Appreciate you popping in. Looks like you're on YouTube today. Always appreciate you popping in. Michael Finn, what up, man? Dominic Dubois, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Appreciate you popping in. Tigerback Wood BeatStars, what's up? Appreciate you tuning in on Twitch. Dope. I'm still waiting for Jarren. I'm always waiting for Jarren. Anytime I'm doing something with Jarren, I'm always waiting for Jarren. So I kind of expected this. So I have a few updates as soon as some more people pop in. I will wait. Remedy Born, what's going on? What's going on? I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys that are regulars. I mean, I appreciate the new people too, but the regulars that show up every Monday, I really do appreciate you guys. You guys holding it down every week. Hopefully, you guys are getting some value out of these sessions. I feel like we've been bringing some quality people to the table, having some really dope conversations. These people have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. So hopefully, you guys are soaking it up and applying what makes sense to your journey. So that's always the goal of what we're trying to do. So yeah, Shane, what's up, man? I see you in here. Cameron Lee, what's going on? Let's see. Anyone know what it means to get like 50 notifications saying BeatStars added? You're up. I'm not sure what that is. Wolf Beats, what's going on? Appreciate you. Silence, what up, man? Appreciate you popping in. Eighth Life, as always. I feel like you're here every week. I appreciate that. Naughty Way, what's going on? Popping in on Twitch. I see you. Mandielo 12. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. But let me go ahead and text Jarren real quick and let me see where he's at. But like I said, if I know anything about Jarren, he's definitely gonna show up late. So let me text him real quick. Real quick. Let me see. All right. So yeah, so for 1 week notice, for the people that don't know, I did a project called 1 week notice. We flew 6 artists out, put them in a house, had them create a project in a week. We just dropped the second single today. The second single today is called Menace to Society. I'm about to put that in the chat. Hopefully you guys can check that out. Give me your feedback whenever you get an opportunity. This one features Jalen Santoy, Nisha Nashay, Doughman, and Khan. It's produced by Miles T. Really dope track, one of my favorite tracks on the album. So check that out when you get a chance. It looks like it had an error. Well, hopefully most people got it. It looks like there was an error when it got sent to Facebook. Anyway, hopefully you guys got that link. If not, it's called Menace to Society. It's on all platforms now. You can check it out. So please let me know what you think about that. There will be a 1 week notice 3. You know, the plan is to do these annually going forward. I'm not sure who's going to be involved in the next one, which brands, which platforms, or what artists and producers. Haven't figured any of that out yet. But if you want to follow the page at 1 week notice on Instagram, the number 1 week notice, we'll be sure to give all updates there as we start to plan for the next one. But we still haven't even put out this latest album, so we'll have a couple more singles. Then we'll put out the album, see how well it does. I'm having conversations with different platforms right now to get involved in a third one. A lot of people have reached out to ask how to get on that. I don't know yet. We haven't figured it out. But there will be details released on the 1 week notice page at some point. All right, let me call Jarren now because it doesn't seem like he's responding to my text. I know he's not gonna leave me hanging. He definitely comes through. It's just, yo, what's up?
Yo.
Are you joining or what?
Yeah, yo, okay, hold on. I'm on this bitch. You know me, man. I'm goddamn computer illiterate. I've been on here.
No, you got it. You got it. It's the StreamYard link that I sent you. You probably clicked the wrong link.
Oh, you know what? I didn't click the link. I just went on my computer and just typed it in.
Nah.
Okay, hold on. Let me try this. I got you. Let me try something else.
All right, peace. That's Jarren being an artist. He'll be on in just a second. I'm not sure if you guys heard that. I'm sure. Actually, I'm probably did. He was talking kind of loud. Silence said you can still got your. This is probably so. I still have the funk. I still have this hat. I only have a few pieces of Funk Volume merchandise. I have this hat and I have the jacket that we had that was really dope that we had towards the end, and then I have a sweatshirt. I think that's all that I still have. I might have some snapbacks too, but I really don't have that much Funk Volume merch. I don't have another one of these, so I try to take good care of it. So this is obviously put this on a special occasion since I'm talking to Jarren. Um, but yeah, hopefully he pops on in just a second. Cloud9 says congrats on 1 week notice. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of work went into that. It's probably over a year's worth of work when you're talking about like planning it out, talking to the artist, reaching out to the artists, and then reaching out to brands, just putting everything together. It's definitely about a year's worth of work, and then it comes out. It seems like everything just comes out so quick, and then it's kind of over. But I appreciate the feedback on 1 week notice. So people, please tap in if you're interested in the concept, and hopefully other people. I don't mind. I'm obviously this isn't the first time that people have gotten together and created a project in a short amount of time. But hopefully it serves as an example for other people to do something similar, because obviously the cross promotion amongst artists, we try to encourage collaboration, we try to encourage. So it pretty much embodies everything that we try to encourage on the MEC. So hopefully it inspires other artists to do something similar. Just don't call it 1 week notice. You call it whatever else you want. You can call it whatever it is. Is this live or pre-recorded? This is live, Nemi Pun. This is live. We are always live on Mondays. You can watch the recording afterwards. So if you aren't available at this time every Monday and Thursday, the recordings are available on BeatStars Twitch channel. So this is very live. Let's see. Dominic DuBois said I tried to contact in all kinds of ways. I'm not sure you're talking about 1 week notice. Well, I don't have any. So if you try to reach out in regards to 1 week notice, like there's no new updates for the third one. I'm just saying follow the page. So when we do have an announcement, you will be the first to know. That's all that I'm saying. Michael Finn says 7 days notice. I mean, you can try that. It don't sound as good as 1 week notice, but you can do a 7-day notice. That it just sounds kind of corny, but if you want to do one to call 7 days notice, that's on you. Grandtastic Beats, what up? I see you. Lucky Cat Beats, what's going on? We still have to do a collab for the crown contest. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get it in before the end of the year. For those that aren't familiar with that, that is our contest in which you're required to collaborate with another artist. It's typically an online contest, and then you make a video and a song to one of DJ Pain One's beats, and we have a contest, and we typically would do that at the top of every year, but we didn't do that this year. So we still have to do that. Boof on the Beat says they ain't gonna have castings like American. Nah, it's not gonna be no American Idol type stuff. But we do, we're always, just like you guys should be, we're always like, I look at the MEC or 1 week notice or collab for the crown, like you guys should be looking at your brand and your music, just kind of always looking to evolve and get better. So if there's something we can do better next time, or something we can add next time, or a partnership that makes sense for that particular project next time, then we want to do that. This is what happens when you deal with artists, and this is what has me 1 foot out of the music industry. You're seeing it live in the flesh. So I gotta call this cat again to see what the problem is. Yo, what's up?
I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm out of being here in like 2 seconds.
All right, peace. I'm on here. We live. They're waiting for you. Man, I told you, dealing with artists will have you going gray early, have you losing hair early. It's a hot mess. But anyway, yes, Jarren, Luke the Nuke 91. Yes, Jarren is joining. That was him on the call right there. I do have gray hair. You can see I got a couple in my beard too. It's starting for sure. A6 Giddy, what's going on? Dirty Old Wax, what up? We're starting later than usual. Damn, we're already 10 minutes in because Jarren. But Yeah, we'll get started in just a second. I'm trying to think if I have any more updates before we get started. If you guys want to put your questions beforehand, if you already know that you have questions for Jarren, feel free to put them in the chat. So since we're running, we'll probably have, maybe I'll do the Q&A session a little earlier this time since we're getting started later. I'm not sure what he's having difficulty with. You're really just supposed to click the link and it come right in like every other guest that I have on. But hopefully he's on in just a second. Wolf Beat says Beer Squad. Steven, oh, what's up, Steve? Steve's in here. Small wins. Yes, always building on small wins. I'm gonna have to put this cat on FaceTime and just walk him through the process of clicking a button so that he can join the live. I have no idea what's taking him so long. This is crazy. Anyway, yeah, just give me one. Hopefully, it's just another minute or two before we get started. Hold on, let me call him again. Bear with me, folks. It's a little bit of patience. Now he's not picking up, but hopefully that means it's because he's about to connect. I'm not sure what's going on, people.
Your call has been.
Now I got the voicemail. We'll get started in a few minutes. I'm not sure. Let me know if you guys got some questions for him. You know, he knows he's supposed to be on here. He has the link. Jarren is not that tech savvy. Oh, here we go. I see him coming in. Finally.
Hey, you know what I was doing wrong?
Wow.
This shit, it wouldn't let me get on. I never been on here. Wow. I had to download Firefox. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's what happened. I had to, ladies and gentlemen, excuse my tardiness. I am black. I had to download Firefox for this shit to work on my computer.
Black people. Do not put that on black people. What you got going on ain't got nothing to do with black folks.
It comes, you know, it's generational lateness.
Nah, not at all, man. What's up, man? How you doing?
Now, I was in this bitch at 3. I just couldn't get it. First, you know what I did? The first thing I was doing wrong is I was clicking on that link that you sent in the MEC shit. So that was the wrong link. I had to sign up for that shit, and that wasn't working. So then when I went to the other, I realized like I'm doing something wrong. Then when I clicked on the other one, I had to download Firefox. But we in this bitch.
All right, for sure. Well, since you are in here, I think most people that are watching this know who you are. Independent, dope artist. Jarren Benton used to be on our label Funk Volume. That's why I brought out the Funk Volume hat today, Jarren.
I would have brought my Funk Volume shit out, man.
I dusted it off just because you were the guest today. But let's jump right into it. I'm gonna jump right into the deep end, just right into the deep end. Jarren, if you were to start over today, what would you do different?
A couple things I'd have did different. I would have. The main thing I always say is I probably wouldn't have took it serious, but I didn't take it as serious as I should have. What I mean by that is I should have approached it more in with a business sense. I should have had everything together, should have paid more attention, should have networked more, and not took it as a chance to, you know, get fucked up and party. That's my main thing. I would have just, you know, ran this shit like a real business.
Wow. Are you doing that now? Like, how many years has it been since you've been taking things just a lot more serious and understanding the other side of the music stuff?
Now I've been definitely taking it way more serious. I think a lot of the things that happened that allow me to take it more serious, I had to cut back some of the vices that distracted me. So I had to cut back with the drinking. And I'm not saying I'm not alcohol free. I still drink. I had to cut back on the utilizing touring as an opportunity to party, you know. Now I really do take the shit serious. If I go out and do a tour, I make sure we set up, make sure everything's together, do sound check, do the show, take advantage of you know, gaining more fans and meeting the fans, and I go back to the fucking hotel, go to sleep, wake up. I don't really do the party and shit like that no more. I just try to make sure I just try to prioritize the business before the pleasure.
Right. So obviously you're from Atlanta, you know, but I wouldn't necessarily say like you're part of like that scene like that. What is it? Well, so advice for artists to pursuing music if locally it's not the best look for. I mean, you rock with a lot of people in Atlanta. You're respected in Atlanta, but you're not necessarily like, you know, sitting next to T.I. in 2 Chainz, but you still do well as an independent artist. You know, advice to artists to in a similar situation if their local scene isn't too receptive to everything they got going on.
For me, I think with that, I'm gonna just give you just a little insight on my. So before Funk Volume, I was, you know, I looked at Atlanta kind of in the sense, and this to everyone's personal city. I think your city is always like a little bubble, and you live there, so it's sort of like that's all you know at the time, right? So I spent a lot of years politicking in Atlanta, and I spent a lot of years in the music scene in Atlanta, the independent music scene, trying to make a name of myself. And chasing that, you know, you kind of can lose yourself in the sense of by trying to live up to what your city standards are. If your city's like, this is the sound of the city, and sometimes you'll deal with the frustration because if you don't necessarily fit in that box, it can be very challenging. So for me, I did so many years of chasing the Atlanta scene. And then once I linked with Funk Volume and I got to travel outside of Atlanta, and I saw like, oh shit, it's a bigger fucking world than just Atlanta. I don't really have to concentrate on Atlanta. So once y'all gave me that opportunity to see the fucking world outside of my city, I never really went back. And it could be, I just never went back to really. I'm not gonna say I don't care what my city thinks of me. I don't care. You know, I love the city, but I just don't really. Now that I know I got an audience outside of Atlanta and I can do shit outside of Atlanta, I don't really concentrate on just this market like that. Right. So my advice to those guys that are just, and at the time, you know, the internet wasn't popping like that. Like I think Instagram was just coming around. Like the social media shit wasn't just popping like that. So I think my advice is just to utilize all these social media avenues because you see it exposes everyone to the whole fucking world. You know what I'm saying? So don't just get locked in your city. You could make it outside of your city. Your city's not the end all fucking be all.
Right. So obviously, you know, you're independent now. Well, you're all by yourself now. You did sign to us as an independent label, I think in 2012.
12, yep.
You know, for people that maybe are still looking to sign to a label, like what do you feel like they should be looking for, or what types of things should be in place? What type of questions should they be asking, or does that even make sense now, or how do you feel about it?
Me personally, and I've been a person, you know, we did it independent with Funk Volume. Then we had major distribution with Warner. Then I went off after Funk Volume and I did a situation with Rock Nation. Me personally, this is my personal experience. Major labels for me, does not work if they're looking for, major labels are not like how they used to be back in the day, as to where they want to take an artist and do the whole, what is that when they used to artist development? They don't do the artist development thing no more. So for them to give you the proper attention that you need, they're looking for something that's already, you know, this a fucking sure shot. So you could find yourself signing a label, and if you don't have nobody in the inside of that label that's looking out for your best benefit, you just kind of just go sit around. But I'm gonna be honest with you, they go sit around. You're not going to be prioritized as this is a priority artist that we should really give all of our attention to. So to me, and in that you're going to sign a contract, there's certain things you can't do that you can do independent. Like when you with a major label, you have to get permission to put certain things out. You just can't drop a song if you want to. I guess that all structures of how your deal works out. But for the most part, from my experience, you can't drop songs when you want to. You got to get approval. So if they're not paying you that much attention, and then you gotta get approval to drop certain things, you can find yourself being stagnant, and it might not be the best fucking option for you as an independent artist. So I think I would utilize. I wouldn't really concentrate on fucking a major label, to be honest with you. I would concentrate on building your own personal fan base. That's what I would concentrate on. That's my personal advice for y'all. I would definitely concentrate on building your own personal fan base, finding unique ways to engage your fan and interact with them. But don't waste your time and mentality thinking that the label is just going to be the fucking golden gate for you and for your success, because it's not.
Right. Well, what about I mean, there's still independent labels out there that are looking to sign artists. Obviously, you made the decision to sign with us. Like, if it's an independent situation, how should they be viewing it? Again, what kind of questions should they be asking? Or I don't know if you remember, like, what kind of piqued your interest in what we were doing that led to you ultimately signing?
Yeah, for me, the thing that got me with Funk Volume was before Funk Volume. Like I said, I was, in Atlanta, chasing the Atlanta scene, trying to make a name for myself. And my mind was just major label at the time. And so I had a couple meetings. I was about to sign with Def Jam before Funk Volume, but the common denominator that all these labels had, and that would frustrate me, this is at the time, I don't know, I can't say that about now, but at the time, it was always, this is dope. If we could change A, B, C, D, this could be doper. And the ABC thing that they wanted to change was just things that I just didn't want to compromise. So I would feel kind of scared at the time. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to do a bunch of shit that I feel is not necessarily me, or something that I feel that my heart isn't really into. And then when I met Funk Volume, and now keep in mind, when I say that, this is dealing with not just Def Jam, this is like 3 different labels at the time. And just my experience was always they would fuck with me, but it was just like, we need you to do this here. If you dress this way, if you make this, we need these type of singles and shit like that. It was just a lot of shit that just wasn't me. The thing that got me with Funk Volume is you guys was just like, hey, whatever's working for you, we just want to help elevate you and do the best Jarren you could be. That's what was dope. I was like, holy shit, this is the first time I heard somebody that got it how I wanted to do. I wanted someone to support what I do, and how do we enhance what I do right now as to change this. You guys, like, we're not trying to change you. We just do you. We just go help enhance this shit and give you the best opportunities and the best, just everything I needed to kind of help elevate my shit to where I needed it to be. So that was the main thing I felt.
Do you feel like when labels make these suggestions, do you feel like they just want more of their hands on it so they can say that they did more? Or do you think these changes would have really took you to a whole nother level? You know what I mean? Like, do these change? Because I know, back in the day, like, labels would say, if you dress this way, or if you change your name to this, and like some of those suggestions I just felt were completely bullshit. And now we have people just kind of doing what they want, and it's proving that some of these decisions will work if the artist is in control. Now, I'm not saying that labels don't have experience, and some things might be added value, but the things that they were suggesting you to do you feel like they just wanted their hand on it, or do you feel like it really would have helped take your music to another level?
No, I don't think at the time when I was doing it and when I was dealing with the labels, I think the changes that they wanted in my situation was more so I was a kind of a different artist, and they hadn't necessarily, they didn't really understand my market. They didn't understand like what direction to go. And that's once again, that's what was so unique and so dope about Funk Volume, because there were artists that you guys kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say me and Hobson are exactly the same type of artists, but there's a similar demographic that you guys kind of understood that I might have fit in that box with him, and you guys understood how to work that. I think with the labels, they didn't understand the type of artist I was, and they didn't really have experience dealing with an artist like me. So the things that they would suggest would be something that worked for another artist, but that artist, you know, we were two different types of artists. So that shit that worked for them, in order for it to work for me, I would have to deconstruct myself and be that particular artist, and that was the shit that I didn't like.
Right. Yeah. No, I still feel like, I mean, maybe it's, I don't know. I haven't really worked with an artist at a major label. I actually haven't really interacted with a major label for some time, but I definitely know that sometimes I feel like people just make suggestions so they can feel like they had a hand in the development, even if leaving it alone would have done just as good, if not better. You know, and some of these suggestions we now have instant feedback with social media, whether it's a name change or a look or something like that, where we can prove or disprove whether or not something is going to work.
Now, I will say this too, that I have felt in certain situations it was like that, to where some of the people that were suggesting certain things were just wanted to just, you know, like the same thing you were just saying, was just to feel that they could be a part of something. And it might not have been the smartest fucking suggestion. It might have been some dumb shit. But yeah, I agree with you on that aspect as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that in the industry. Like they just want to put their hands on something so they can justify their payment or recognition, or like sometimes the best thing is to just shut the hell up and let things be the way they are. Like that's, as managers, I've seen that a lot of times. It's like,
yeah,
if you're still the manager, like nobody's threatening your job, but just shut up. Like what you're doing right now is just wasting time, right?
exactly.
Sometimes
I think, do you think that sometimes that could be the case, that sometimes either the managers or the labels, they handle it in the fear aspect of, like, you know, like you said, they want to just give some stupid fucking suggestion that's not even the smart idea, but just to justify their role, you know, and feel that they was a part of it. And it's like, bro, you're not thinking of what's the smartest decision. You're just thinking,
yeah, no. I've seen lawyers do that a lot. It's like, you're still gonna get paid. Like, you don't gotta extend this process or, you know, comment on stuff that doesn't need to be commented on just to, you know, justify the $500 an hour that we're paying you. Anyway, so well, I want to touch on a live show, because you have a dope live show. You're an overall just like a great performer. You know, how important has your live show been to your career?
I think it's been very important, man, because there's just like, let's take me outside of an artist. Let's just take me as a fan. There have been artists that I have been a fan of. I don't want to call them out, and I've seen their live shows, and their live shows were just extremely boring. It changed my perception of them as a fan. So that was one thing, you know, just coming from, that was one thing I always wanted to make sure I was entertaining, you know, the people that paid their fucking money to come see me. And I always was influenced by artists that gave dope live shows. That was another thing. And if I see a dope, I've also been in situations to where I've seen the artists that I wasn't a fan of, and they had a fucking crazy live show, and I became a fucking fan of that artist, you know, just due to, like, damn, they gave a fucking hell of a show. I'm going back and checking more of their shit out. So I think the live shows aspect is super important, and just having a good fucking show. So for me, it just came from just being influenced by artists that had a live show. And then also it came from being influenced by going to live shows and just seeing someone put on a fucking great show. And it's just, you know, it inspires the hell out of you.
Well, do you think, I mean, you how old is your oldest?
My oldest son?
No, your daughter. Your
daughter. Oh, my daughter's 17.
Oh, so she's going to shows. Like, do they, like, obviously us, like our age, we care about the quality of a live show. I'm not sure if the younger generation does, like, maybe like the experience is a good show experience. The characteristics of a good show experience are probably different to younger people than they are to older people, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think younger people, because obviously you see Rolling Loud and you see hella people like rapping over their vocals. You know, I don't know if she's been to shows, but how do you feel like the younger people view the live show experience?
See, that's another thing too, because let's just say you're in a younger demographic, and You see, you got a certain shit that you're used to seeing. And you won't even know it. Okay, so let me give you a perfect example for that. I don't think they necessarily give a fuck, but I think they will give a fuck once they see a great fucking show. For instance, when fucking Prince was fucking first came out, I was not even born, but you know, I didn't see a live Prince show until I was 24 years old, right? So I'm a 24-year-old person sitting here going to a Prince concert, and I'm amongst, you know, people older than me. And that show was so fucking amazing that I was just like, I was stunned. I didn't understand. I was like, yo, I've never in my life seen something this fucking dope. So I was used to going to, you know, the rap show or, you know, rock show occasionally. And you just kind of see the shit that I would consider like, oh, this is dope for a rapper. But when I saw that shit that Prince did, it put my whole mindset in a whole different place. Like, wow, it made me look at that shit like, oh, this is not dope. Oh, this is bullshit compared to what this guy is doing. I never knew something like this. This shit's so fucking amazing. Like, so I think that will do that for the younger generation. I think that they're used to seeing certain shit, but when they go to a crazy fucking show, they'll be like, wow, okay, this shit that I fuck with is, you know, is mediocre compared to this amazing fucking show. I don't know if that answered the question, but
nah, it does. And I think, I mean, obviously I'm in the camp that a great live show is going to matter. I think eventually, you know, even if you just like the experience of being there, even if somebody's rapping over their vocals, like that won't be the case as you get older. So eventually that will tailor out. But there are some young artists that I think are known for putting on good shows. I think Travis Scott comes to mind. I've never been to his show, but I heard he's known for having, you know, a great live presence. And then artists a little older than him, like your J. Cole's and your Kendrick, they understand the importance of a live show. Yeah. So switching, I want to talk to you about like management. I know that when I met you, you had 3 managers.
Yep. 3.
How did that happen? Was that the best thing for you? And, you know, just your management experience?
It was, oh man, I would say for the top, for what I was trying to execute, it was necessary because how I had it, it was like I necessarily didn't need 3 fucking managers looking back at it at all. But so I had one manager that was sort of a day-to-day guy. And, you know, he was with me every day. And then I had another, that 2 manager shit. Okay, the 2 managers that was kind of day-to-day were kind of, I guess, sharing their percentages, right? So then I had another manager that was in the industry, that was connected in the industry. So I say it to say it worked. It for what I wanted to be in the mainstream industry. So he was the guy who was trying to plug the mainstream major label deal situations like that. But I realized that wasn't, you know, what I wanted, and what worked best for me was doing the independent shit, fucking with y'all. So fucking with y'all, then it kind of wasn't necessary at the time to do the whole 3 manager shit. So I don't necessarily think it's necessary at all in general, unless you just, you know, got a bunch of crazy shit going on, but it's not necessary at all.
Was there anybody, how did your managers feel about, because we found you off of your video that, you know, was pretty popular called Schizo, and that's how we initially got introduced to you. What was your manager's reaction or suggestions around that time? Was all 3 on board? Were they typically all 3 on board with stuff, or did they?
No. They didn't necessarily clash too bad, but they necessarily. One of my managers, RIP, Slow Motion, he understood it, but he was more so like, you could be a bigger fucking artist. Like, so certain moves that he would see, like the Schizo, he thought it was dope, but and I was the same way when I did Schizo. And the reason I even fucking, you know, I'll tell you the story. We did Schizo, and we did it and we actually sold the fucking song for a ridiculous fucking amount of money. And ridiculous mean not good. Because I was under the impression, and like I say, this is before social media and shit was going viral. I guess that did go viral in the sense of what it was then. So I was thinking that no major label will fuck with this song or this video. This shit is too crazy and too chaotic. So I was under the impression that this shit's not gonna do anything because that's what, that's what I saw, and that's what the people in the major industry and the people I was looking up to, like no one, I mean, the closest person that had shit like that was popping was what, an Eminem. And I'm black, so let's just be honest, it wouldn't work the same it would work with me in the fucking major fucking industry. So I say that to say, but the other manager understood that. He had an understanding of like, fuck it, man, this shit, let's just do the best you and this shit go work. We don't have to fuck the major label shit. Like, let's just, I think he more so had a little bit better insight of you could kind of create your own lane versus the other two managers was more so mainstream because they came from that world. Right. One of them was, an A&R at Epic at the time. So, that's all they knew was just mainstream industry shit. And when I say industry, just major label shit. So they didn't really know how to maneuver that shit. And so they didn't never see anything like that really work in the major. So that would one, like I said, that was probably the most clashing we would have is one maybe understood a independent lane and the other ones kind of saw the major avenue. So that was the most clashing I saw with them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talk about this a lot on the MEC. Like, there's a lot of different ways to pursue music, and when you're listening to people, you have to know like which path they've gone down so that you can receive their information the right way, right? So if it's somebody that's always been in a major label system giving you that advice, you have to know that they've been only in a major label system to receive that advice the right way, to better understand whether or not that applies to your journey or not. It could if that's the path that you want to go, but it may not if it's something more independent, do it yourself type, lane that you want to go about. So I think that's why it's so important to really understand the business and the different ways that the businesses can be structured so that you can receive advice the right way. All right. So now obviously you signed with us 2012, and it was crazy because our fans really gravitated towards that video, because when I looked at the analytics of the views of that video, like literally the day we announced you, like it was like a hockey stick, like the way the view chart was, like the views were going up, but then as soon as you signed with Funk Volume, like the views started going like that.
Yeah.
So that was it was pretty crazy. I knew people would gravitate to your music given our fan base. Dizzy was a little bit more of a struggle given that he was a lot more different than you and Hop. But obviously you joined us, did your thing, XXL freshman cover, you're touring, you're doing well. What was that while you were with Funk Volume? Kind of what were some of your thoughts? How did you want to maneuver and kind of help take your stuff to the next level?
Okay, at the time when everything was once again, it goes back to me being in that major fucking mainstream mind state. Is that because, all right, let me say this, like prior to Funk Volume, all my influences and everything that I fuck with, even though they all came from major and they all came from mainstream shit. So me personally, I didn't even understand. The most underground shit I understood was probably like down south underground shit, like 3 6 Mafia and shit like that. But I've never seen necessarily independent like hip hop shit like the shit that we were doing. I didn't know, a lot of people labeled some of our shit as horrorcore. I wouldn't even say that at all. But I'm saying that to say is to, so once shit started popping in Funk Volume, I was shocked because, like I said, I've never saw that shit, and it gave me like a hope, like, oh shit, like it's not you're winning. You don't have to worry about it. Because before that, it was like, damn, I would always kind of beat myself up because it's like, yeah, I don't fit. I'm from Atlanta, but I don't fit that box, and it seems like nobody really kind of get this shit from Atlanta. No one really understand what the fuck to do. So that was a breath of fresh air once I got on Funk Volume.
Is there anything, like looking back at it now, is there anything that you would have done differently? Would you have tried to release more music? Would you have done?
I would have definitely tried to release more music. That's the main thing. I would have released more music. And the reason why I wanted to, a lot of that shit was just me in my head as an artist. And just like, oh, I don't know if they'll like this. And a lot of the times when you were in your head as an artist, you kind of can hold yourself back. So it was a lot of the times I was just like, yo, I got this. I finally got a fan base, and this is how do I fucking take advantage of this? Sometimes I didn't know it. Sometimes I was just feeling like in my fucking head, like I had more music to release, and it was like, it's not good enough. I don't know if they're gonna want this, and I wouldn't release this shit. I would be sitting on shit. So I definitely would have released a lot more music. Did more fucking content, engage with more of the fans, network with more of the, people outside of the this in the industry as well with us. I wish we would have collaborated with more artists as well. We didn't do that. We collaborated with, artists that was kind of fucking with us and it was our friends and shit like that. But we didn't do a lot of I know Dizzy did, but me and Hop didn't do a lot of like outside collaborating with like, and I know a lot of mainstream people tried to reach out to Hop at the time and he wouldn't do it because, he felt that his fan base wouldn't fuck with it. But I wish we just would have utilized, I wish we wouldn't have took a lot of the shit just so serious. We was just a lot of the times in our fucking head, man. That's one of the things.
So I think one thing about being part of, because I feel like we had a pretty good infrastructure, pretty good foundation. Like I think it's easy to kind of go with the flow when that happens, as opposed to like if you were by your own, if you were on your own, you probably would have released more music. You probably would have did more, because a label kind of keeps your name afloat even when you're not doing anything. Right.
Yeah.
So even like, let's just say your album cycle finished, but then Dizzy's about to release some music, but you're on Dizzy's album, so your name is still going to float a little bit. There's still going to be a reason to promote you, or we might go on tour. There's always going to be a reason to float your name or my brother's name or Dizzy or Hop. So that's like the benefit of being a part of a label that's extremely valuable, in my opinion, especially in a time like now where even more content is necessary. I feel like we really could have thrived in this environment because if you're part of a label, we're constantly dropping content.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Even towards the latter end, like I know that we were, experimenting with some sketches and some skits that we never released, but we were planning for more content.
Yeah,
for sure. So when immediately after everything kind of blew up and you started doing things on your own, what was that adjustment period like?
For me, man, it was a little difficult because at the time I felt like after Slow Motion, we did the tours and shit like that. And I think that was the last release I did. And then we released that with Warner. And I felt that we were finally, all of us felt that we wanted more attention on us, but I do look back at that time and I realized like, holy shit, we were kind of, if we would have just stuck with this shit, and meaning that by the label, we would have fucking eventually got there. I saw the trajectory going up, you know what I'm saying? And so when I went out by myself, it was more challenging because I didn't have that support that I want. Like with us, like you just said, if I don't drop some shit, you got Dizzy and I might be on Dizzy shit or whatever. We might all go on tour together. It was just consistent kind of, a chain reaction as far as us all promoting each other and shit like that. But on your own, it was more challenging. I didn't have that support system. And then outside of that, we would have the weekly meetings, I know we had Jamie in Brooklyn and you had a couple other people. It was just like I feel like we created, Funk Volume had a great fucking system in place. And it wasn't just you by yourself. You had people there to help facilitate things, or I could express something to you like, damn, I got an idea to do this. And you guys were helping, like, figure it out. Let's figure it out. How can we execute this shit? So when you by yourself, it's like, damn, you don't have that team. It's just you, and you don't even, you know, sometimes you might be lost in the sauce. So for me, it was challenging without that support system. So that was the main shit that was like a big difference that I noticed, like, oh shit. And then I also noticed that certain things I didn't even say complain about, certain things I might have took for granted on Funk Volume. It gave me a deeper appreciation for what we had, but it was like, unfortunately, we don't have that, so it's too late. But it gave me a deeper appreciation and made me look back at the situation like, wow, this shit was fucking special, and what we built was fucking special, and that's some shit that you're not gonna get. That shit just don't happen like that, you know. So it was challenging, man. I can't even front. It was definitely challenging.
Yeah, I think for artists need to understand that, like, you know, of course, there's going to be those things that provide that instant gratification. You know, if you make a post, you're going to get instant likes, instant comments, things like that. But then there's this other side, and maybe even a more important side of your journey, where you're planting seeds that might take a little longer for those things to really blossom. I mean, you might see evidence of it along the way, and I think that's what kind of was the holdup, you know, with Funk Volume, and you guys not really seeing what Warner was doing, right? Like Warner was planting the seeds, and you get the social media side. I mean, that, you know, that was still growing, but it slowed a little bit, and then you didn't necessarily see all the seeds that Warner was planting, and until, you know, until in hindsight.
Exactly. You know, I would say this too. I mean to cut you off, but one thing I think that fucks all of us up, even to this day, and I think that's another thing that kind of fuck with your head a little bit, is that trying to compare yourself, looking at what other artists are doing, and you start looking at that, and you don't lose sight of yourself, but you're like, why is it that A, B, C, D? And it kind of fucked you up because you're just looking at all these other artists' fucking progress versus looking at your own and just saying, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna just go on this road. I'm gonna just, this is the plan for me. I'm gonna stick to this plan, and I'm not gonna let what's going on for that artist at that time, because it like I said, shit takes time. Like what you're saying, the seeds, you got to plant the seeds, and sometimes it's gonna take a while for shit to grow. But you get impatient when you start looking at other artists' growth, and you start feeling, wow, shit ain't like this, and it fucks up your vision a little bit. I can't front.
Yeah, and then you can't really compare yourself because you don't really know what's behind what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You don't know how many years of work they put in, how many videos they've made, all the songs they released.
Yeah.
You don't know the people behind it, the money behind it. So you can really, you're not comparing apples to apples none of the time when you start comparing your situation to somebody else's. So you have to respect and appreciate and maybe learn from somebody else's journey, but understand that you're on your own path. So figure out, you know, how to move on your journey. Because you never know what's behind other people.
Never. Yep.
I mean, and sometimes, you know, sometimes you're shocked, or sometimes you're like, damn, I didn't know they had all that. I didn't know this person was kind of a silent partner in this operation. You know, it's
once you find out, sometimes, you know, what's going on behind the scenes of this shit you were comparing, so you like, oh fuck. Of course that's why, you know, but you fuck yourself up. You start feeling inadequate about your own situation, and it's just it don't do that. I would never say folk don't, because like Dame said, you don't know what goes on with other people. Just focus on yourself and focus on your own path. Like you said, you definitely could, you know, maybe pick a couple things you might want to learn from that artist, but don't look at that shit and look at where they are and try to compare where you are and let that make you feel inadequate at all. Just keep pushing.
Right. So the latter days of Funk Volume, let's just say you were in my seat, and you say you had the ability to make whatever move that you wanted to make to continue the label's progress. What moves are you making? Anybody that you were signing at the time? What any moves that you? I'm not talking about the drama, not to avoid the drama. I'm just saying at that time where we were at, like if you could make some moves as the CEO of Funk Volume, what would you be doing?
I'm gonna be honest. I think I would probably do exactly what we were on the fucking path of doing, and I think picking up more artists with a different, a different sound than everyone else. And I think, remember at the time, I think, that's when I told you about Russ, and we tried to get Russ on board. I think that's what I wouldn't have done nothing too different than what you were doing. Because at the time we were trying to get more artists on Funk Volume, and I think the main goal, and I think this is what made it dope, is that we were getting artists that were completely different. Like, we wasn't looking for the next Hops, and we wasn't looking for the next Jarren or next Dizzy. We were looking for the next unique individual, what they fucking bring to the table. So I definitely would have did that. Probably would have tried to connect, same shit you were doing, man, connect with different brands. I wouldn't have done too much shit different than what you were doing, to be honest with you. I think we were on the right path. It just derailed, it had a quick demise. But I think we were definitely on the right fucking path.
So a lot of people want to know, and I still don't have the answer for it. You probably still don't have the answer for it, because obviously I would have loved for you guys to collaborate more with just each other. Funk Volume album would have been dope. I mean, I know we had a Funk Volume 2012 song before you got there. We did do a Funk Volume 2013, but for whatever reason, we couldn't do 14 or 15. From your standpoint, why didn't you guys collaborate more? And is that something that you look back at? Is that something that you could have spearheaded or led the charge and made happen?
Yeah, I don't even think I could have made it happen. I think more so it was, once again, that artist shit in your own head. I think because we all came up separate. Like, we didn't come up making music together. So everyone had different formulas of the way they created. And I think sometimes we would be too much in our own head. Though I'm gonna give Dizzy the credit. Dizzy was probably the only person that was just super down with, like, let's all team up and do some shit. I think a lot of, I would say, at least for me and Hop, I was definitely down too, but more so we was just in our own head. Everyone had different unique ways of creating, but I think the fear of stepping outside of our own fucking box of creating kind of put a little bit of the collaboration shit, on hold. Because it was easy. All we had to do was just link up. I think we took certain shit way too serious. It was like, bro, let's just make this fucking song and just move on to the next shit. It was just always this extra shit in everybody's head of their creative process that I think that fucking unfortunately did not allow us to collaborate a lot. That's the only answer I can give, because I think once we did shit together, the couple things that we did, we had a good time doing it, and it was dope. It was just, I think that we were all, I'm gonna say this for me and Hop, I was willing to, but I think more so it was just the fear of stepping outside your comfort zone that kind of fucked up a lot of the collaboration. Hopson had a specific way he liked to make music, and I kind of understood that because I had the same way a little bit. He liked to be by himself and create by himself. And once you step outside of your comfort zone of creating, sometimes it might not be as easy to create. Sometimes it may be more difficult. You may not feel as comfortable. So I think but I think in due time, the more we have done, if we would have done it once, if we've done it a couple more times, I think if Funk Volume would have kept going, I'm 100% confident that we would have found a way to step outside of that comfort zone, and we would have fucking did a lot of more collabs with each other.
Right. So obviously you've been in the game for over a decade. The game is constantly evolving. The things you got to do to succeed as an artist are sometimes changing. You've never been the best at social media, and I think that's something that Funk Volume helped you with. Now that you're on your own, and it's even more important to stay visible, stay present, stay consistent. How are you adapting to that? And are there some other changes in the music industry that you've seen over your time in addition to like the social media stuff?
I think the social media shit is the biggest, because it consistently changed. And I'm one of them artists that I am not the best with the social media shit. And what I mean by change, like for me, okay, the thing that the thing that inspired me and made me love music was just the pure creation of the art. and just creating something fucking dope and putting it out there and going to perform that shit. You go into, you put your music out. You spend time working on the music, and then you go on tour and perform that music. So I say that to say with social media, now you got to find a fucking different way. So it's not about creating the music, going on tour and performing it no more. Now it's about finding new ways to keep your fans engaged. And sometimes it might not be music that do it. Sometimes, from what I'm seeing, a lot of people, you got to find something creative. I feel that it works better if you find something that's creative, that's within your brand that you can do. Right. I see a lot of people try to step outside their brand and just do what everyone else is doing, and they think it'll work for them the same way. And I can't be mad at them. I get it, because it's a weird fucking kind of little shit we in. I've never been the best at social media, and then on top of that, you got to take. Sometimes I don't really give a fuck about it like that. When I say I don't give a fuck, I don't mean it like the fuck it. I think it's a beautiful fucking tool, and it's so dope because it connects the whole fucking world. What I mean by not giving a fuck about it, sometimes you got your own life you got to fucking worry about, and you may not be in the mood to hop on this shit and be in this world like that, because you got other personal shit in your life going on, and it's challenging, man. I wish I had a better answer to give you, but I haven't found a way to really that's a part that's one of my weakness, I feel, that I'm trying to figure out. But I'm saying that to say it seems like you have to consistently be in the face of your fucking fans, and you consistently have to be doing something. And I say that to say that sometimes real life may make you feel like, I don't fucking want to be bothered today. I don't want to get on social media. So that's the challenging aspect of it for me. That's what I deal with it.
I think for artists, if you can, I know that artists, a lot of artists lack the structure and organization, but if you have some structure in your life, you try to structure your social media, right? So let's just say, every Monday you do a certain type of post, or, what are your things outside of music that you do? Let's say you work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, Friday is a fitness thing that you can share. Like, just try to have some organization. Like with the MEC, we record our podcast every Thursday or Wednesday now, release it every Monday. Then I'm live every Monday and Thursday. Like, we have these set things that we know that we can pull content from. And if artists can try to do that, whatever it makes sense for them, obviously us is music business education stuff. But I just think that structure is so important, to being able to be consistent, so that you're not always fishing for what to post. That if you have like a structure to work within, you're not going to wake up thinking, okay, what do I got to post? Like, you already know what you're posting because this is what you do on that particular day.
Actually, what you just said is some real shit. And it's actually, I would definitely say that if you have structure, and I think that's the challenging part of it. And I'm saying that as far as for me, because I do have those days where you wake up and you're like, oh shit, what? I know I got to do something, so I won't seem like I'm fucking non-existent. What can I post today? And you don't have that structure, you don't fucking know it. And that's when it seems challenging, like scrambling, just trying to find some shit to, to feed the people.
Right. Well, I mean, just knowing you, I could sit here and think of, maybe you do a verse to, like, a new verse to a song, one of your songs, right? Like on a particular day, or maybe I know you brought your son into social media here and there. He plays the guitar, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a chat with your son, and he's a pretty charismatic, seemed like a pretty funny cat. Like, maybe there's something you can do there. Like, yeah, I think people just need to just step back before they rush to social media and start, figure out, okay, what I got to post today. Like, step back, have some strategy, and some organization to it, and then hopefully that eases the stress of feeling all that pressure to having to keep up with what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, what you just said, you actually just this was Dame, man. This is what I like. This is what this is the shit I miss, even with Funk Volume. Just sometimes you feel lost in the sauce, and this guy come with some good advice, and kind of help you kind of put shit, you know, in perspective. But yeah, no, what you just saying is actually, as we're talking, I'm learning from some shit you just said. Like actually that's great advice.
For sure, for sure. What so before we wrap it up, I did, if you guys did have some questions, feel free to type them in the chat. We'll try to get to a few before we close it down. What do you got coming up? What's on? I saw, unfortunately, I think I saw a message saying your tour just got canceled.
Yeah, and the reason behind that is, you know, with some of these venues, and actually me and Greaves did a show in Denver and it was amazing. But I will say, when we did do the show, they were very strict. You couldn't come into the show without either showing a positive COVID test or showing that you were vaccinated. And I think some of the places we had, some of the people I had on there couldn't get into certain spots, or some people wasn't vaccinated. We just didn't have our ducks in a row as far as the safety side of it. So I was like, let's just see if we can postpone it till we get everybody, you know, till we can definitely ensure that it's going to be a fucking safe fucking tour for people. So that was one of the reasons. But so since the tour isn't coming up, I'm still doing it. You know, this is just the content piece I do, the 8-Bit Bully, where I take obscure video game samples and turn them into songs. Me and Demrick working on a project right now as we speak, literally right now working on a project that we're trying to put out either end of this year or the top of the fucking year. And I always said this shit. I haven't been in the space, but I think 2022, I'm gonna be in the space to put out a 100% official Jarren Benton project. Like I just wanted to. The reason I had, you know, we had the COVID shit and all this crazy shit going on, and plus I just wasn't in the right headspace. But I'm feeling a little bit more like I want to put out another personal fucking project. So 2022, I'm definitely putting out another Jarren Benton official fucking project.
Dope. All right, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Jarren, appreciate you tuning into this or being on the show. Even though you were late, it's all good.
Oh man, everybody, my bad about the lateness, man. I apologize.
Nah, I think
you want me to stay on, man? Answer a couple questions if anybody got any questions.
Nah, it's cool because I gotta cut myself.
Okay.
Actually, somebody just said Jarren collab with DJ Hopper. Is DJ Hopper going to be a part of the Demrick project?
Yeah, he's a part of it in the I don't even want to just say the way he's a part of it. We're working with one of his producers that's actually on his label, so he still is a part of it, and I'm pretty sure he's going to do a couple tracks on it as well.
Okay. Dope. All right, man. I'll definitely be in touch. Everybody else, Thursday, Pain will be live, 12 p.m. Pacific. And then next week, I believe I have an artist manager on by the name of Sam Sediman. And it's going to be a dope conversation. So please continue to tap in with us. Enjoy the rest of your week. Hopefully you enjoyed this session. I'll see y'all later.
I appreciate y'all, man. Hey, be safe.